Okay. Nick Sorder got attacked a couple days ago. Let's pull this up. There's a video of Nick Sorder getting attacked. Let's turn the sound on here. I don't know why the sound is so low. So let's just rewind that a little bit. So you see what happens here. Nick is filming, and for some reason he's like filming with his front camera here. He's like filming with this camera for whatever reason. So he's filming right here, and you see him, and they try to steal his phone from him. They grab his arms, and then Nick punches them. He's got something in his hand. I don't know what it is. Punches the person, and then they all grab him. By the way, for defending himself. Everyone's saying, oh, all I saw was Nick Sorder punching somebody. Yeah, why did he punch them? Here he is, by himself. He's being touched already. As soon as it starts, he's being touched. He's got his hands up. He says, stop touching me. And what does the person do? Grabs his phone. And then grabs his arm. And then literally pulls his arm down. And then he fights back. And then he gets restrained by those very people. An entire mob of them. And gets pulled into that mob. And then he gets grabbed by this person. This person comes up and literally grabs the neck of his shirt and rips him. Looks like it was a water bottle in his hand, I think. We need to take attacks on journalists seriously, especially on independent journalists, because it happens so often. But for some reason, we just write it off. It's fine. You know, these people can continue attacking these people. It is so rare for somebody to receive justice, an independent journalist to receive justice after being attacked like this. This person literally just tried to strong-arm rob him, and he had to defend himself, and then he got ripped into a mob forcefully. Then he got pulled by his neck into another mob. It narrowly escaped. When you allow them to do this, when these people continuously face no consequences for doing these things, they will continue to do these things. And right now, it happens with impunity. This was in New Orleans at a protest, an anti-ICE protest. You just give them impunity. It's monkey see, monkey do. When they attack a journalist who they don't like because they view them as far right-wing propaganda or whatever it is, they attack them. Nothing happens to them. They go home and sleep like a baby at night. It just teaches them, it's a gear shift in their brain. I can do that, and I can continue to do that with no consequences. And from now until the end of time, they will continue to tell themselves and their people that we can do this and nothing will happen to us. The hammer needs to come down. It's only going to get worse. Now, after the attack, this is what happened. More people touching him.
You're not gonna lay hands on me. That's not really right. You can't get control over your own people. It's really bad, guys.
So they continue to touch him, and of course, nothing happens. That was posted by Turning Point Frontlines. Now, here's what happened before the attack. And people were using this as justification. Oh, Nick's a provocateur. He deserved it. It doesn't even matter. Like, if Nick was provoking them, verbally, it doesn't even matter. Because, by the way, he's allowed to do that. And if somebody provokes you, if I walk up to you and say, hey, you're a fat pig, guess what? You don't have the right to touch me. Okay? Keep your hooves to yourself. It doesn't matter. Their word, sticks and stones, my friends. So here's what was going on before Nick got attacked.
We are resilient.
They're continuing to touch him. This is before the attack. They're touching him. They're pushing him out. So he like ran up on their stage and he said something, and then they grabbed him and pushed him off.
We are resilient.
You don't have a right to do that. This is not a permanent event, and even if it was, you still don't have a right to forcefully remove people. Now, what you can do is call the police if it's a permanent event, and you can ask this person to be removed from your permanent event. You have a right to do that. You don't have a right to grab that person and push them downstairs. They are touching him again. Blocking his movement, which, by the way, is against the law. You can't block somebody's forward movement on public property. This is outside of the federal building there. Oh, there's Gabe.
Too much running for the day.
I didn't even have the hat on this time.
And they're all following him. So people were actually using that video to say that Nick was provoking people, despite the fact that he's the only person being touched in the video. That he was provoking people and thus justifying the attack on him. Now, again, it doesn't even matter if he was provoking people. And what is provocation? Like, anything can be viewed as provocation. What I get told is that my existence is provocation. You know, I ask people, they say, you're here to provoke. I say, how am I provoking? They say, oh, well, you're a right-wing ideologue and you're here. I said, okay. So I actually haven't said or done anything provocative. It's just, you know, me being here is provocative. And so, you know, also, does a woman in a short skirt deserve to be raped? I don't know. It's not really adding up. Okay? So regardless, it doesn't matter what Nick said before this. It doesn't matter if he called somebody fat. It doesn't even matter if you call somebody the N-word. Okay? Which apparently in the, where was that attack recently? That the guy said the N-word, which it was in the UK, I think. Regardless of what you say, it doesn't justify being attacked. Oh, it was in Portland. Lovely. Yeah, a jury acquitted a black man of stabbing a white man by a Portland jury after the victim said the N-word. And if I'm not mistaken, he actually said the N-word after he was stabbed. A Portland, Oregon jury has cleared a black man of assault charges for stabbing a white man after it was revealed that the victim said the N-word after the attack. Gary Edwards, 43, was found not guilty of second-degree assault after knifing Gregory Howard, Jr., 43, on July 7th, KPTV reported. Edwards admitted to stabbing Howard Jr., but claimed it was in self-defense after the victim had used racial slurs. Self-defense after the victim used racial slurs. By the way, there's no double jeopardy in the United States. So you can't try somebody twice. Now, this might be grounds for a mistrial, I'm not sure. Both men are homeless and have lengthy rap sheets. A video from transit cameras showed Edwards approach Howard, who was sitting on a bench, from behind with a fixed-blade knife in his hand. As soon as Howard sees Edwards, he jumps up and starts pushing him. The pair briefly scuffle against a wall before Edwards suddenly stabs Howard in the shoulder. There is no audio in the video, but Edwards' defense attorney, Daniel Small, told the jury his client was approaching Howard to see if he would trade his knife for cigarettes. One second. I'll be right back. I need to do a demonstration. Sorry, guys. I'm one for theater, so we'll just do it with the sword. Hey, man. Can I trade you my sword for a package of cigarettes? Yeah, you right there. Can I trade you my sword for a package of cigarettes? Now, if somebody came up and did that to me with a fixed blade knife, they came up behind me without having said anything, I'm probably going to act in self-defense as well. Comes up behind him with a fixed blade knife. He sees the guy and pushes him back. Seems perfectly rational to me. So stupid. Police body camera footage captured Howard calling Edwards the N-word in the aftermath of the attack, after cops rushed over to intervene. Howard claimed he only used the racial slur after being stabbed, but Edwards testified that the victim called him the N-word the moment he saw him. And to that I say, who cares? You don't have a right to stab somebody because they called you the N-word. You don't have a right to stab somebody because they called you anything. It doesn't matter. Suck it up, Buttercup. You can't stab people because they call you mean names. Quote, what other than racism could explain why Mr. Howard perceived hatred, animosity, and aggression from a complete stranger? Maybe the fact that he had a fucking knife in his hand. If I see somebody with a knife in their hand approaching me from behind, it's on sight, bro. The prosecution said it was irrelevant what Howard said after the attack. Prosecutors also argued that Edwards was always, quote, in control throughout the attack. Quote, the defendant is not scared for his life. He didn't retreat. He sauntered up. And he sauntered up away after he stabbed somebody. The defendant created the situation, prosecutor Catherine Williams told the jury. Oh! He brought upon his own stabbing. He brought upon his own stabbing because he called somebody the N-word. Why was this guy even? Edwards, who was acquitted on October 31st, has previous convictions for. So like, I can't even make sense of this. So the prosecution is arguing, I made a mistake. She argued that the defendant created the situation, which is true. The defendant did create the situation by approaching somebody with a fixed blade knife. And the best story he could come up with is hey, would you like to trade for some cigarettes? No. Edwards, who was acquitted on October 31st, has previous convictions for attempted second-degree assault in 2021 and was sentenced to 3 years in prison for a separate stabbing at a Portland light rail station in May of 2020. This guy has a history of stabbing people. He has a history of high-degree assault. Felony assault. Nah, he was definitely just trying to trade his knife for that guy's cigarettes, for sure. That's for sure what he was doing, guys. I know, people in Portland are just the dumbest people possibly on planet Earth. He was also accused of fourth-degree assault over a fight with a store clerk, but the case was dismissed in June because of a lack of available public defenders. I can't even, man. Howard also has a lengthy rap sheet and was convicted of felony rape of a child in Kitsap County, Washington in 1997, records show. And listen, I'm not going to say I'm against stabbing a pedophile, but this guy had no idea he was stabbing a pedophile. I'm not going to say I'm for it either, to be clear. I'm not advocating for that. I'm not saying you should go out and do that. Just to be extremely abundantly clear. And let me just be even more abundantly clear. You should not go out and stab pedophiles. For legal reasons. But, yeah, it's just, I mean, regardless of what this guy's done in his past, obviously this black guy, Mr. Edwards, Gary Edwards, should have been convicted for stabbing this person. He walked up with a fixed blade knife behind him and then attempted to stab him, to which the plaintiff pushed him back and attempted to defend himself, and a jury acquitted him because this guy apparently called him the N-word after the attack. Absurd. Hello, Bentley. So this whole riot where Nick Sorder got attacked started because there was riots over ICE raids, go figure, in New Orleans.
Everyone, U.S. Border Patrol. Yeah. Give us some room, guys.
Oh, and by the way, like, this isn't even... Who posted this? Okay. Yeah, these people all like gather around. This isn't even ICE. This is Border Patrol. Nick accurately reported it.
Give us some room, move.
Yeah, that's U.S. Customs. Customs, Border Patrol. So this is the situation that led up to that protest you just saw. It seems that it was a rather impromptu protest sparked by these Border Patrol raids on houses in New Orleans, which led to this situation outside of what appears to be the New Orleans Federal Building that resulted in Nick Sorder being attacked.